And we are live. Hello, everybody on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram land. We actually have,
Is that a thing? Instagram land? Instagram land.
for me, it was a thing. I don't know if it's a thing for everybody. And we actually have some wonderful, amazing translators with us. If you require Hungarian, Czech, or Turkish translation, you can actually log into the link that I will be sharing on the comments, and I'm gonna pin it everywhere so you can find it with ease. Beautiful. Hello.
Hello. So, Troy and I are both what we call X-Men. And people go, what do you mean by X-Men? X-Men are the ones that are extremely sensitive to other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, judgments. And they're also the ones that are sensitive to energies. And so when you are born into a world that's mainly based on form, which says this is the way it's supposed to be, and it doesn't have allowance for people that are different functionality, call them neurodivergent, just their brain functions in a different way. Even saying that allows me to relax, And so the question is, are you different? Have you a different functionality? And we'll start there. And so then, was your difference...
Have you a different functionality?
Oh la la. Sorry, that's super distracting. So was your difference something that was recognized, appreciated, nurtured, honored? Was there gratitude for it? Or did you learn to hide your difference and give you up at a very young age? And so the topic of the live tonight is about, do you give up you and your lightness to intertwine with the cognitive dissonance of other people's problems and heaviness? And is that working for you, And so where we'll begin with this one is, for me, I was an extremely happy little bopping kid, like bouncing around the place. I used to run into the fields and eat flowers. And then I was around a lot of people who created a lot of problems, and life was difficult and life was hard. And so what started to occur is, in order to create a connection with the people that I loved, I actually had to connect with them through their points of views, which is intertwining with their cognitive dissonance. And another way is to have a commonality with you. It's like a double-edged sword. To have a commonality with you, then I had to have your point of view. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Or do you want to go back before you go forward?
Yeah, and I get like one of the biggest things for me that affected me, which was trying to understand. And I get like that was one of the big things that I would engage with someone, or I would just even see someone and they would have this massive sense of heaviness. There would be this massive sense of no space. And like I would just look at them, and in the time, like I didn't even know, but I would dive into their whole universe. And then, because it was like so fast, and that's another thing with X-Men, we are so fast. Like the moment that we see them, or like even if we sense them from miles away, like we're able to pick up that energy, and then I would go, oh, like what is this? And then I would try to understand it, and then I would try to change it. And actually, and my basic point of view was, oh, if I can understand it, then I would be able to help this person to get out of this. And I get the more...
Hang on, can you say that again? Because it's so big what you just said. If I understood this...
Yeah, if I understand this, then I would be able to help this person
to solve their problem, to solve their heaviness. So basically, if I can understand the lie, then I can actually change the life of that person. Which seems, when we say this out loud, it seems quite like insane that we would have the point of view that if I understand this, I can change for this person, instead of, we're going to talk about perceiving. Let's talk about the difference between perceiving, which is an X-Men functionality, instead of feeling and owning. And so X-Men have this inbuilt, call it autoresponder. Just because we're aware of something that doesn't work, we have this tendency to think that we're responsible for changing it, or we're responsible for the person. And so what occurs when Troy is talking, what occurs in nanoseconds is we have this ability to see what does work and what can be chosen so that life can be lighter, can be easier. And so what occurs is we perceive the person's reality, but then when we go into it, we own that reality as ours. We take on, that's our role, that's our responsibility. And then we get lost in what we're supposed to fulfill that doesn't work. We call it the unsuccessful savior of mankind. It's called the fifth element. Check out an Access Consciousness bars class where we talk about the big five. And that moment, we've actually lost ourselves in the figuring out, in the judgment, in the understanding. So understanding is the lower harmonic of knowing. And so the big message from this live is you have an ability called perceiving, and you can perceive people's realities for thousands of miles, and you can download what the energies are in their life. That could be problems, that could be density, that could be heaviness, that could be lack. And then you look to go in to fix those problems instead of knowing that you are perceiving the energies of density, heaviness, problem.
Yeah, and I get the other part is that sticks us the most is
dynamically
so intense.
So intense.
It can seem so real and true, and like most of us haven't been raised that
Educated.
someone and educated,
informed
that someone just saying, when you have that sense of intensity, someone just going, hey, if it's intense,
it's not true.
If it's heavy, it's not you, it's not true. And like, I have been trained, and I know most of you that is listening now or in the future have been trained to trying to solve the heaviness, or if we can, or how many of you have been told you will be successful if you can just bring
lightness to the heaviness,
or if you can turn the heaviness into lightness. And how many of you tried that?
Wow. Yeah, how many of you tried that with your parents? You tried to bring lightness to their heaviness, and they didn't receive that because they were buying the lie as real and true. And one thing that Gary Douglas, the creator of Access Consciousness, always says is you cannot create your life from a lie.
Yeah, and that's what, and we will be actually going into these topics like way deeper in the class that we will be doing, because these topics are huge. Like, even like when we are bringing up these energies, like you can sense there's a lot of heaviness, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance, which is
welcome to my whole life. Trying to figure out, trying to understand, how come this person is doing this? How come she's doing that? How come they're choosing this? How, instead of receiving their choices and not making it right or wrong, that they like to drink their tea in a different way to me. And
I would like my tea with some poison.
I would like my tea with some difficulty. I would like my tea with problems. I would like my tea hard. And the X-Men are like, well, actually, if you did this, the whole thing would change. And then because the person who is choosing the problem or the difficulty isn't willing to receive your capacity to have peace and ease and to make things work, then you shut off all your abilities and capacities because somebody doesn't receive the lightness. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get that's huge. Like that's another huge topic that I would say that is coming up in all the expand classes that I am facilitating and Rachel's facilitating, is where we make ourselves wrong and where we make our capacities wrong because other people are not willing to receive it.
And forget about make them wrong. For me, I
Making you wrong.
was acting like I had no capacity. My functional point of view is there was something wrong with me.
Yeah.
And then I started to use the tools of access consciousness, which says actually judgment isn't even your reality. Now, there's a tool in access, what's true is light, what's heavy is a lie. So when we say, is wrongness light, and you get a no, so therefore, whose judgment are you owning? Whose judgment are you owning as yours that isn't even yours, that was projected at you as a young kid? And so when you're different, people project at you, well, if you just did this, just be the good girl,
Yeah.
And so it's such a big topic where we're like this big, huge Rolls Royce, and we cut off our arms and legs and every part of us to fit into somebody's version of what life is according to the form that they've actually decided. This is the way that you should be educated. This is the way that you should function. This is the job that you should do. And so a lot of us don't recognize the ways that we give up our reality and we make other people the source, their judgment, the source of the creation of our lives, instead of recognizing that judgment isn't real and true. And as an X-Men, you have a capacity, now this is the capacity to be in communion with everything in the universe.
And I get it's really, really relevant for you to educate yourself
Totally
about your functionality. And when we're talking about Access X-Man, it's not to create another separation, because we do have a lot of separation already in the planet that not in the planet, but people,
in the world with people
do have a lot of separation. It is to, like, for you to acknowledge your difference without making it wrong, and from the acknowledgement of what do you require? What do you require to have ease with all of these places that you are making yourself wrong and where you are diminishing you, so you can not only survive in this reality, but you can actually start to thrive. And that is the invitation that we would love to be to all the X-Men out there that is making themselves dynamically wrong. And I want
it's just
to
separation. Just
tell you guys that I thought literally that everything that I was wrong, and I desperately tried to fit in. I was like, why I cannot just fit in? Why I cannot just be normal? Why I'm not just like everybody else? Like, what is wrong with me? And I was trying to make myself so wrong, and I was not able to get anywhere until I was starting to use the tools of Access Consciousness, which is one of the favorite tools that I use, that I will absolutely invite all of you to use as well, is instead of asking what is wrong about me, asking what is right about me that I am not acknowledging yet.
There's a movie, Gone with the Wind, and the main character, I'm pretty sure her name is Scarlett. It's been a while since I watched it. And through the movie, she's the wild one. She's the one that challenges everything. And they keep saying to her, Miss Scarlett, you just ain't fitting. You just ain't fitting. And I would say that's the line that described me my whole life.
All the X-Men, everybody's also listening to this now in the future. Like, how many of you
just ain't fitting?
Yeah.
And no matter what you do, you just ain't fitting.
You just ain't fitting.
You just ain't fitting. I used to look at my neighbor and she would go to the same job for 20 years, 9 to 5. And I would be like, I just can't do that because I just ain't fitting.
Yeah.
I have a different reality. I enjoy change. I enjoy growth. I enjoy learning.
Yeah, like how many of you like change jobs all the time and you get bored so
Fast.
quickly
Yeah.
and you're making yourself wrong, going like, oh my God, I have to just focus on one thing. Like I remember there was this person or like this word out there was if you want to get some professional on something that you have to spend 10,000 hours on that. And I was like, okay, like what I'm going to be professional at. And I was trying to myself focus on one thing. And even like when I say the word focus, how many of you start to get compressed and compressed
Yeah.
instead of going, hey, what would be fun for me today? What can I choose? What else is possible for me? And that's actually another tool where Gary and Dane were inviting me and all the X-Men out there, instead of trying to do one thing, like, do you have more ease when you're
you have
doing
a few projects?
so much more? And
Yeah.
that's the beauty for me. The Access tools is pragmatic. It's not right, it's not wrong, but it's invite you to choose what works for you. And it's like, for me, the X-Men classes is absolutely phenomenal in the way that when you are willing to change your point of view and allow a different space, how things that seem so wrong or where you make yourself so wrong can shift and change so
Fast.
quickly and so fast. And I personally love these teleseries, telecalls, Zoom calls, because they are so quick, and where we will be going is based on people's questions and the interactions that we have. So it's always exciting because I personally don't know where we'll be going. We just title the class to bring up an energy in your guys' world.
And also what I've seen with myself and the X-Men that I work with a lot of X-Men, is that we give up our joy and our peace and our ease in a flip, in a nanosecond, to diminish ourselves through somebody else's judgment, our problem, our heaviness. You know, we're very quick to let ourselves down and to not.
So quick.
So we're so fast. And I would say that's one thing that I really would love to support X-Men have, is not to diminish yourself. Like, what would your living be like if you didn't diminish your joy and your ease and your peace, and if you actually valued that as a capacity that creates a greater world?
There we go.
And if you would like to do a deeper dive in, there's so many aspects to where we intertwine to belong, to be owned, to be loved. There are so many places that we give up that space and that ease and that peace and that joy to have relationships with other people, or to be connected to them, you know. And so that intertwining with cognitive dissonance is where you take on somebody else's point of view and then you become it, and you, I guess, you have a commonality with that person through that point of view, and you think it's you, but it's not you at all, because anything that's heavy isn't true for you. Yeah.
And like, and I know that I know now that I require support sometimes to unravel that. Like, actually someone that's being there with me to unravel that, because like when you're in the middle of it, it seems so
true
real
and
true. And so if you are out there and you know that you require some support to unravel all of these parts and pieces that you are intertwined with and doing cognitive dissonance, and you're just stuck in the middle of it and you're like, what the fuck? Come join us to unstick you. And
the big message, if it's not light, if money isn't light for you, if business isn't light for you, if generation isn't light for you, if relationship isn't light for you, if your body isn't light for you, the chances are that you have created a commonality with somebody else's point of views in regard to resistance, rejection, alignment, and agreement. And then you have become that and you act like it's you, but it's actually not you. One thing I do want to say, I thought the heaviness was me. I thought that was me. I thought the insanity was me, but what turned out to be true was everything that I thought was wrong about me was actually a strength and a capacity and a lightness that I had given up for the points of views that were, I suppose, projected on me.
Yeah, and there's a beautiful book called Would You Teach a Fish
To Climb a Tree? Hello, fish.
Yeah, you can purchase that and read that and educate yourself from there. There's so many wonderful expand classes with different facilitators. We are 2 of them. So if you like to go into a deeper dive with us on this topic, we will be doing a class on October
17th and 18th.
Yes, October 17th and 18th. And the time is
7:30?
7:30 to 8:45 Central European time. And we do have different languages are translated. Some of them are German, Hungarian, Czech, and Turkish. We're working on it to find a translator. And how does it get any better?
And what if wrongness was not your reality?
What is right about me that I haven't yet acknowledged?
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Thanks so much for watching this live. We are extremely committed to getting these tools out there because they actually allowed us to be free and create a living that works for us and makes us happy. So we invite you to live with more joy, more peace, more ease, and more gratitude. And thanks to all the translators.
Yes,
Thanks
thank you so much, all the wonderful translators, and thanks so much, my beautiful wife.
Hey, woohoo! Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, Ellen.
Bye, Ellen. We love you.